Hey there, everybody. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another edition of the Monsters Den. Look where we are once again. We got the trio back together for the first time in a while. Got Mr. Chris Allo and Mr. Dave LaGreca from Busted Open Radio on Sirius XM. Today, we're going to bring you the show we've been talking about for a long time, and we finally got our schedules together to do it. We're going to give you our 10 favorite modern horror films, so post the year 2000. So what we're going to do is, since we're talking about a lot of films here, and I'm sure we have a lot to say, we don't really talk about the storylines on these particular films, but basically what you like about the film, why you picked it on your list type of thing. So,
I like it, yeah.
So we'll have Dave kick us off with his number 10.
And you know what? Like, making this list was so hard. Yeah. You know, I think probably when we did the last show we did like top 10 horror movies of all time, like our favorites. That was easy. This one, I didn't think there was as many great horror movies the last 20 years than they actually were.
Yeah, there's a lot of them actually.
So I was really surprised by that. Not a lot of like movies that I'm emotionally tied to, but great movies nonetheless. I think if I made a list of my top 50 favorite horror movies, I wouldn't have a lot from this list. But really, a lot of great movies over the last 20 years.
Yeah, I would agree.
And I think we're probably going to have a lot of different movie titles compared to the last time.
I would agree with you.
And I have a feeling you two are going to kill me on some of the movies I have on my list.
You never know. I mean, who knows?
And you know what? At my 10th, I guess I would put is Get Out. A movie that a lot of people loved when it first came out. I saw it, and I think because of the hype, I didn't think it was as great as a lot of people said, but the more I watch it, the more I love it, and I have it in my top 10. Different, completely different than any movie, really, that I've seen in a very long time. I thought very good acting as well, and Get Out, yeah.
I saw it for the first time like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, really?
I really liked it. And I didn't go to see it originally because it had so much hype.
It did have a lot of hype.
And I was like, sometimes, these like really mainstream horrors in the last 10, 15, 20 years to me don't seem as good. But I think I need to get over that whole mentality because the more I start watching some of these more popular horror films, the more they're actually pretty good. And I like that a lot.
Yeah, and I didn't see like everything that came. I didn't see it coming. Yeah. I was completely, surprised by a lot of what went on in that movie. Very good twist, and Get Out.
It's kind of like a modern take on the Stepford Wives. I kind of
yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Is that the one from Key and Peele, or Peele or Key or something?
No. It was the guy who just recently did the new Twilight Zones.
Right, isn't that one of the guys from Key and Peele and Key and Peele?
I think
the
you might be right.
Yeah,
okay.
he is a comedy guy. Yeah.
I hated the Twilight Zone. The new Twilight Zone is absolutely awful, but Get Out, very good.
They also did that cat movie, right, where they were like fake gangsters and they were trying to rescue a cat.
I haven't seen it.
All right. You got to watch that one because your wife's a cat person.
Yeah, she is. Thanks.
All right, we'll go shoot across here.
Right.
So
I didn't see Get Out. I got to see that one.
Yeah, I think you.
Okay,
like
I'll give it a shot.
It's fun. It's fun. My choice for number 10, it's a vampire film, and I think we talked about it before here, but I really like it a lot, and it's just so like bleak. 30 Days a Night, which is that one in the middle right there. Josh Hartnett and good cast, really evil, just psychotic vampires, and it's kind of in a cool setting, right out in the Antarctic or Alaska, wherever the hell they are. Yeah, Alaska, 30 Days a Night, right? Yep. So that's what the vampires pick. Small little town out in Alaska. Pretty cool, pretty gory, well made. I like it a lot. So that's my number 10.
Nice, that's a good one. My number 10 is a little haunted house movie. This is a shout out to my buddy Dez because my buddy Dez brought this over and we watched it together and I really enjoyed it. We Are Still Here.
Yeah.
It's from a couple years ago. It was shot in upstate New York, and it's literally a little haunted house movie, but it's really good. It's really dark. A lot of good practical effects and some good jump scares. So I would definitely recommend it.
Yeah, I enjoy that. I only just saw it for the first time a couple months ago.
I only saw it a couple years ago because of Des. He was like, you got to watch this. And I was like, wow, that was really good.
Yeah.
And you guys talked about this a lot. The jump scares seem to be a big thing the last 20 years with horror movies.
Oh, yeah.
And that's definitely an example of it, for sure.
Definitely.
And sometimes they're done well, and sometimes, that a lot of times they throw them in there, and they're totally expected. For me, a jump scare works when you don't see it coming.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You know?
When it's just a cat, you're like, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, exactly. All right, back to Dave.
All right, this is one that I saw in the theater, and then I didn't see it for a very long time until just recently. Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah.
Nice.
Really unique. Completely didn't know what was going on. There you go. Completely didn't know what was going on the first time I watched it. I was talking about this with Chris before we started taping the show. It's kind of like a little bit like The Sixth Sense in as far as that it doesn't have a lot of... You're not going to watch that movie a lot. Once you know where it's going and you understand the movie, it kind of takes the effect away. But the first time I saw it, I was really blown away. I was really surprised by it. Creepy, but so unique, funny at points too as well. So Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah, that's the thing about a lot of these big twist films, right? Because once you see the twist,
Yep.
you're like, oh, that was great. Then
It's true.
it's like when you watch it again, you're like, I already kind of know what's happening here, and it's like, and that's like the big part of the whole film. But yeah, really well done. I love they bring in a lot of the monsters, the classic monsters.
Very
into it.
unique.
It's kind of a comedy. And,
When you watch it, you really have no idea. Like,
No idea.
Where is this going?
Yeah, like what is going on here? So yeah, definitely. I loved it.
Yeah, very cool. Good pick. Here's one I just saw literally the other day, and I absolutely loved it. It's made by the same guy who did Saw and the Conjuring films, and quite frankly, this is as good, if not better than Malignant.
Wow, I never saw it.
Yep.
Oh, highly recommend
Yeah?
it. Highly recommend it. It's got great practical effects, really good acting. It's got the chick who did the Annabelle movie.
Okay.
And her name is Annabelle something or other, Annabelle Wallace, and really good, really gory. It's kind of like a weird. This is all I'll say. It's kind of like a different weird take on Basket Case.
Really?
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I won't I won't
sold.
say anymore, and it's a recent film. This came out last year, so really good. I'm ready to watch it again. I just saw it the other
Wow.
day.
Well, the fact you said Basket Case right there, I got to see this.
Not
movie.
as wacky as Basket Case, more serious. But,
Okay.
but think of the concept of Basket Case. That's kind of what this is.
Okay.
So I won't
All
say
right.
it.
I will have to check Malignant out. I'll
There
put
you
it
go.
on my list. Up next for me, I remember seeing this in the theater, really enjoying it. I didn't buy the Blu-ray, but I'm going to wait it then, I guess, for the 4K.
You might as well, right?
Shaun of the Dead,
Dead.
one of the great zombie comedies of our time. I'm sure everyone's seen it, and it's a lot of fun. And hopefully we don't have to run to the Winchester anytime soon. But it's a blast.
Yeah, I still have my DVD copy. I'm waiting for the 4K.
Yeah, I'm sure it's coming.
I mean, you guys with the 4Ks, I feel bad for you because you always say, I bought it, and then I found out 2 weeks after I bought it, the 4K come out. So there you go.
The curse,
It's a
curse
curse.
is real. Yes, the curse is real.
Well, like Chris always says, you got to collect them all, right?
That's true. Whether it's action figures or movies, it's terrible.
Never ends.
All right, here's one that's very recent. It actually came out during the pandemic, and I thought it was great, and I'm surprised that a lot more people didn't talk about it, but I think it's because it was never released in theaters because of COVID. The Invisible Man, that new take on The Invisible Man,
yeah.
I thought it really blew me away. I thought it was fantastic. Obviously, we've all seen the original. There's been so many versions over the years. I thought this recent one was a great take on the story.
I didn't see it, but I heard it was great.
It was very well done. I thought it was great.
I liked it. I wish they didn't call it The Invisible Man, though.
Okay, I get it. I
Right.
get it. I get it.
Without going into too much detail.
Yep.
But I thought it was really well acted, and she's amazing. What's her face
Great,
from
yes,
that, and,
great actress.
Yeah.
She's fantastic. And I don't think anybody. It kind of came and went.
Yeah.
Because of the time that it came out.
Right at the beginning of COVID.
Yeah, it didn't have a theater run at all, and it kind of just got forgotten about quickly. And I thought it was really good.
Yeah. Good stuff. Yeah, it's definitely a different take on the whole Invisible Man.
And I understand what you're saying, that if it was named something else, you probably would like it a little bit more.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I had a hard time getting past that, but it was good regardless. All right, my number. What are we at? Number 8 is The Mist. Stephen King's
That's
The
a
Mist.
great one.
Yeah, I like this a lot, and it's a great story. And this is, I think, one of those instances where a Stephen King short story became a truly great horror film. And The effects are great in it. The acting is terrific. And what's really interesting about this film is like a lot of the concepts in this movie, if you kind of forget the creatures and all that kind of stuff, it's shit that's going on today.
If you apply it to the pandemic, it totally works.
Oh, totally works with people, all these different opinions, people not believing what's right in front of them, all this kind of stuff. I won't get into all that, but yeah, it's a good one. And one of the bleakest,
darkest ending
ever.
How
the fact they released it like that is just
it's true. It is mind blowing that was the
great short story by Stephen King. Amazing.
After seeing the movie, I always wanted to read, and I had always heard that the end. I don't know what it is, but the ending in the story is different than the movie.
Yeah, and it really took that. Actually, that movie should be on my list. It's a crime that I didn't put that movie on my list because it is very, very good. And it blindsided me because of the short story. A different ending. Don't want to give it away. Yeah. But you're right. Such a bleak movie.
Yeah. And the Blu-ray is cool because it does have a black and white version of it.
Yes.
Which kind of works.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes it extra creepy, I think. There's something about it.
And was it I didn't hear much about it. Was that like a box office flop in a way? Or did that do well?
It did okay.
I thought it did okay.
Okay.
I thought
I don't
from
know
what
if it was
I remember.
a blockbuster, but it did okay. Yeah.
And listen, I'm sure it was not a blockbuster because of that ending. I mean, it's such a dark ending, you know. Yeah. Talk about not sending people home.
I know. I feel like frustrated. Like, just, I don't want to give it away, but yeah, you're right. It breaks your heart. But yeah, great one.
All right, back to you.
Oh, okay. All right. I saw this one in the theater. I've mentioned it several times on Monsters Den just because I could not believe what I was seeing in front of me in an R-rated movie and in 3D. This is the Piranha remake from a few years ago when you have two porn stars 69ing underwater while a man's severed penis is floating in 3D.
It happens.
In an R-rated movie, especially having lived through the 80s when all the Friday the 13th movies were cut to ribbons to get an R and they were bloodless. Man, this movie is crazy. And tons of gore, very funny. I really enjoyed it, and it's worth checking out.
Definitely gorier than the first Piranha film.
Oh yeah,
the first Piranha film is still the classic, but yeah, they definitely knocked it up a couple notches there.
And Chris, if you're shocked about that scene in the water, you've never met my second wife, because a lot of those elements.
I'm taking that as a good.
Yes, thing. A lot of those elements, but I digress. Number 7 on my list, Saw 2. I thought my favorite Saw movie of the series. I really loved it. I loved the whole series, but I thought that second one was definitely the better. It really is brutal. Hard to watch at times. Like you always say, sometimes you got to take a shower afterwards. I kind of felt that with Saw 2.
Yeah, Saw 2 is brutal. Yeah. I kind of lost interest in the whole series after that film. I thought that film kind of really just went into places where you didn't expect, and then after that got a little formulaic. But the first two are still really enjoyable.
Yeah, but it is a brutal movie.
It is. Oof. Just thinking about it. Ugh. All right, my number 7 is if we would have done this show like a year ago, I would have never picked this film because the first time I saw it, I hated it. And then we got to talking, and then it came up in conversation. People were like, "Oh my God, that movie's so good! You should give it another chance." And I did, and then I really liked it. I bought it on 4K. But The Witch from what the hell's his name? The director?
I don't even remember.
Yeah, I forget his name. Whatever his name is. I don't know. He's done a couple of really good films. He's a pretty good filmmaker. But this is good. This is kind of like that folk horror type of thing, and it's kind of like
it's a slow burn,
atmospheric. They talk in like the old style language, so you have to really kind of pay attention to what they're saying. But it's a fairly evil type of flick. I had to watch it again to kind of really, I think, appreciate it. But now I'm like, wow, this is a work of genius here. Really good cast, great acting, and a lot of menace. Like not a lot happens. And it's not like a gore film. There's not a lot of violence, but the stuff that happens is unsettling.
It's unsettling and creepy.
Yeah, it definitely is. So The Witch, that's my number 7.
Nice. All right, I guess my number 7 then. I don't know if I'm counting right. I might have screwed that up.
Yeah, that's all right.
I saw this at the Exhumed Films 24-hour show, and even though we've all seen a million zombie movies, I thought this one was done pretty well. This is The Dead. And this is from, I think it was done in South Africa. And it's basically a mechanic gets stuck in South Africa during a zombie apocalypse, and he's literally behind enemy lines, and he has to fight his way to get to safety. And it was done on a very low budget, but it's very effective. I was definitely white knuckling it a couple times during the theater, and I think it's really good. There was a sequel.
Never saw it. No,
it's really good. I enjoy
learning
it. There is a
stuff today.
sequel, and it's called. I think it's just called The Dead Part 2, and I thought that sucked.
Of course, as most of them
But
do.
this
Right?
one I thought was really good.
what year is that from?
You guys got glasses.
Yeah, that's,
Has to be 2000 something.
I never heard of it.
2012.
Wow, so it's
Wow,
pretty,
it's newer than I thought.
yeah, it's pretty recent.
Okay. Yeah, it's definitely good.
All right, this one I think you guys are going to kill me on, and I think it's more about nostalgia and who's in the movie, why I love it so much. At number 6, Devil's Rejects.
Okay.
Not a big fan of his other movies, but I think, you got Priscilla Barnes in it, Ken Faree, like there's some like...
Oh, it's a great cast.
Yeah, it's got a great cast.
Great
I think
soundtrack.
that's why it's great soundtrack. I think that's why I love it so much, just the nostalgia factor in it. But Devil's Rejects. At
I like
number
it.
6.
I think I like House of a Thousand Corpses a little bit better, but I like it. Those are probably I kind of lost interest in a lot of his films, but I still like those two a good amount.
Yeah, I did not like his Halloween movies at all. But those two movies, like you said, I did really like, and this one especially because of the cast.
Yeah.
And like you said, the soundtrack.
Yeah,
it is a good soundtrack.
I will admit, I only saw Devil's Rejects once in the city, and I didn't like it. But I also thought it was, to me, it felt like a 70s exploitation movie rather than a horror movie. But so many people love it that, like, recently somebody else brought it up, and I was like, you know what? I got to see that again.
Give it another shot. I think you might like it. Yeah, it's been a while.
And you don't like House of a Thousand Corpses either?
It was okay, but at least that I felt was more of a horror movie.
Yeah, that was kind of like his homage to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre,
Yes,
I think.
and I think that's what I was expecting more when I saw Devil's Rejects.
Yeah.
And not that I guess just the exploitation part, just kind of threw me off.
Yeah.
But like I said, I mean, it's a huge cult movie. I mean, so many people love it. The action figures and everything. So I'm like, all right, I just said recently, I'm like, all right, one of these days I need to see it again.
Yeah. Worth it. All right, my next one is a fairly popular film, and I actually put off watching this for a while, and a good buddy of mine's like, you gotta see The Conjuring, man. It's like one of the scariest films of the last, couple decades, and I was pretty skeptical. I was like, And then I watched it, and I was like, holy shit, that's pretty good. And I would admit, most films don't scare me. There's some really good scary scenes in this particular film. And, some of the sequels and prequels are, that they vary in their effectiveness. But I still think the very first Conjuring, this is a good set because it's got most of the films in one collection. I still think the first Conjuring is pretty damn good. It takes that kind of Exorcist and haunted house thing to another level, and it's pretty successful as far as delivering the chills, and the acting's good. So that's my number 6.
Scared the hell out of me.
Yeah,
it really did.
Yeah, that's how you do jump scenes right. In my
yes,
opinion. And even not jump scenes where all of a sudden you have someone's talking, all of a sudden this figure just appears in the background slow, and it's just what the fuck is that, right? Yeah.
I gotta say, you mentioned The Exorcist. It might have been the scariest movie that I've seen since The Exorcist.
It's got a similar vibe.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, it does.
Really scared the hell out of me.
So.
Interesting. Of that 6 film collection, I haven't seen any of them.
Wow!
You
wow!
No.
You should watch.
All right, I'll have to take a look.
Annabelle's pretty creepy too.
Yes.
Yeah, because
yes.
dolls are kind of creepy in general. So yeah.
All right, I will take a look.
I haven't seen The Nun yet. The Nun's the only one I haven't.
I saw the trailer. The trailer was scary.
Yeah.
And there's a new Mego action figure,
Okay.
which I didn't get.
No.
For the Nun?
Yeah, she's got 2 heads. So I guess when you're in the first head, she's scary looking, but not that scary. And then you take her habit off and turn her head around, and she's got the fang face on the back.
Wow.
So that's kind of cool. But since I didn't see the movie, I'm not buying it.
I get it.
You got to draw the line somewhere.
Yeah, I know.
You got to draw the line.
Looking
somewhere.
at this room, you got a lot of stuff. You got to draw the line somewhere.
Can't have everything.
Yeah.
Can't get everything.
All right, my next one is a movie I should have seen in the theater, but I did not know it was this good. It was directed by Bill Paxton, and it stars Bill Paxton and Matthew McConaughey and Powers Booth. And I was shocked at how much I enjoyed it, and I've seen it several times since. and it's a bit of a slow burn. And man, I think it's got one of the greatest twists in cinema history. And it's a little movie called Frailty. I remember seeing Bill Paxton on The Tonight Show. I was going to say it's Johnny Carson, but no, Johnny Carson was probably dead by then. It was probably the guy from Saturday Night Live, and he was talking about it, and then I wound up catching it on cable. And it is creepy, but it's got a great storyline. And, if you like serial killers and that sort of thing, it's really well done. And like I said, it's got a great twist. I don't want to give it away, but I really enjoyed it, and it's a shame Bill Paxton didn't get more recognition for this movie because wow, this was a really, really great job.
Yeah, it's a good film. I haven't seen that in a while. That's good.
Yeah, it still holds up.
Really good.
All right, this is a movie I actually learned from watching your guys' videos. I was saying this to Chris before. I don't know how. I never heard of this movie. I don't know how it flew under my radar. And then I heard you guys talking about it. I'm like, wait, what? And then you started describing the movie, and I was like, this is like a rib. This can't be real. Bubba Hotep at number 5. I if you listen to Busted Open, I've been talking about it on Busted Open for the last 2 weeks, giving you guys credit. But I've been touting this movie. Nobody believes me that it's like a real movie until people, like listeners, started looking it up. And now people have been talking about it on social media. I thought it was funny. Ossie Davis is incredible in this movie. And, of course, Bruce Campbell. Bubba Hotep.
Cool.
That is a good one. Yeah.
I mean, the premise of the movie is amazing. I mean, it may be one of the best premises of a movie I've ever heard.
Yeah.
I mean, Elvis, who switched with an Elvis impersonator, so people thought he was actually the Elvis impersonator, and Ossie Davis as John F. Kennedy is just, it speaks for itself. Yeah. And then, they steal souls from your ass, but...
Yeah. It works.
It works somehow.
It works. All right, I'm going to pull a Pardo here, because I got to do that every single show. I got 2 tied for my, what are we at, number 5? Yeah, number 5. And there's a reason why, because one is the original film, and the other one was a immediate remake. The original film was made in Sweden. The remake is an American film. The original is Let the Right One In, and the immediate remake here in America was Let Me In. And it's basically exactly the same story. There's a couple little differences, right? It's based on a Swedish book, but man, they're both so good. And
they're both great.
I couldn't separate them. I was like, you know what? I mean, this is one of the rare instances where a remake is basically just as good as the original. And it's because they're different cast, a couple different little things in the film, but otherwise it's exactly the same film, and they're both so good. So well acted, and they're just as much a really cool twist on the vampire legend and like a young teenage romance type of, not even teenagers really. And it's just so good. Both are so amazing. And these are I can watch these over and over and over again. Either one of them. And sometimes I'll put one on and then watch the other right after.
Wow.
Yeah, it's so good.
I've only seen Let Me In, so I got to check out the other one.
Great.
Yeah, great.
Yeah?
Great. Yeah. They're both so good. They're both really, really great. And
it's amazing, too, that they were both made like during the time of the Twilight movies, which were vampire in name, but...
that's
because these are unbelievably well done.
Yeah.
Young teen vampire movies, but just completely different from
really bleak stories.
Yes.
I mean, just like, from the whole where they take place and so it's snowing and it's just oppressive and it's real, both really well done. Really well done.
Yeah. Thumbs up.
Yep.
All right, mine is a sequel. I think it could be one of the only sequels I got. I didn't buy the Blu-ray, so I'll just buy the 4K when this comes out. I remember seeing this with a bunch of buddies in an empty theater in the city, and it came out in the summer, which apparently the reviews were great, so that's why they pulled it from the fall and released it early in the summer, but that killed it. But I really liked George Romero's somewhat forgotten 4th zombie movie, Land of the Dead. Which I think was really well done. I thought it was a great way to cap off his classic zombie series, and it's a shame it didn't do well because he kept making zombie movies, but they really shit the bed after that.
Yeah,
I didn't like it.
Oh, you didn't like it?
I did not like it, and now I have to go back and watch it. I've only seen it once. The one time I saw it in the theater, because I was really excited for that. Because you know how much I love Dawn of the Dead and Day of the Dead. I just didn't get into it. I didn't like Dennis Hopper in it. I thought the acting was kind of robotic, and I wasn't a big fan. I didn't like the premise of going under the water. I thought that was really silly.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple things I would change for sure.
You know, the building that everybody lived in that they had to sell people into. Why would you not want to live in that building?
Right.
There was just some things I just couldn't get past. I got to give it another watch though, because I wanted to like it. Yeah. I was just disappointed in it, so got to check it out.
It's still better than the two that follow.
Oh my god!
Oh yeah,
yes.
I like it. It didn't quite make my list. I like it. It's the last one that I like.
Yes.
And I don't think it's a great film, but it is fun. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the ones that came after it, I have no use for.
So. Yeah. I have to give it another try. All right. At 28 Days Later. Love that movie. I really do. It's like a zombie movie. Yep. I mean, you get so emotionally attached. Here you go. You get so emotionally attached to the characters. Yeah. That's what I love it so much. Because when somebody turns, it's heartbreaking. The scene with the woman and the young girl later on in the movie too, you're really like hoping that something happens. And I love that emotional connection. I definitely felt it in that story. Really good movie.
It's
well
a great
done.
Survival film.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I remember I saw that in the theaters, and that's like, and the movie just it's relentless.
Yes.
And I just like the zombies or the infected in the movie, or just like they're running around like crazy rabbit, and the whole film just kind of like steamrolls like that. It's really
and as soon as you think you're in a safe place in that movie, it gives you a right hook. Yeah. Really well done.
All right, my number 4, the first in this series, Hatchet. Old school 80s style slasher, ridiculous gore and violence aplenty. I mean, but they do these films really good. I think everyone in the series, in the 4 films, they're all the same. It's like they make you really dislike the regular cast so much that you can't wait for Hatchet, for Victor Crowley to come on the scene and just murder all of them in the worst possible way. So, because most of the rest of the cast are pretty unlikable people. You know, you got some hot women. In this one, they got the two chicks who are constantly fighting with each other, and it's just like, whatever, just kill them and get it over with. But I think the gore is just so over the top, and Victor Crowley's a great. It should have been one of the greats alongside Freddy Krueger and Jason and Michael Myers. And unfortunately, this is all low budget stuff, but I love the series. I love the film. So
I totally agree with you. They're so annoying. You can't just wait for them.
Oh yeah, just kill them all, please. Just get rid of them.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's a good one. All right, my next one. I saw this in the theater. I was the only person in the theater. The air condition was broken, and it was 80 degrees in there, and I still laughed my ass off. And it's a movie that bombed at the box office. It was a huge flop. I don't know how much it cost, but man, this could have been an awesome franchise or a TV series. I think I'm the only person that likes it. As of 2 days ago, it was on sale on Amazon for $5.
Wow.
Brand new. So everybody should go to Amazon and give Pete credit. I love this movie. The Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse.
Yeah, you talked about that on a
It is ridiculous. There's boobs and blood and zombies, and yes,
looks like Heather Thomas.
She's not Heather Thomas. She's the female lead, but she's gorgeous. I mean, this movie's nuts. It's like Piranha, but with zombies instead. I mean, there's one point where one of the Boy Scouts is falling off the side of a building, so he grabs the zombie by his testicles, and he starts pulling away from him. And I'm like, oh my! I was the only one in the theater. I'm like, I can't believe I'm seeing this in an R-rated movie. I mean, it's fucking nuts.
Amazing.
So I'm sure nobody has seen this but me. It shows up on cable once in a while.
Never saw it.
It is worth your $5, folks, with the free shipping. I mean, someone's losing money on that, so definitely go pick it up.
I gotta get it.
All right, at number 3, I got the remake of Dawn of the Dead.
Shit! I forgot about that.
You know what?
That is a good one.
It's really at the beginning. You're talking about that movie's almost 20 years old now.
Isn't that? It's like 2000 or 2001.
It was like 2003, I think.
Okay.
Wow.
And, so it's 19 years ago now.
Wow. Yeah.
I thought it was a great take on it.
Yep.
A couple tips of the cap to the original, like you had Flyboy's helicopter on the opening scene. I thought it was well acted. I really enjoyed that one. I know a lot of people didn't like the fast zombies, the running zombies. I thought it was. I liked it just because it was a different take on it. But I really enjoyed that remake of Dawn of the Dead.
Same, and I always thought it was so strange. The movie did well. It was a hit. It debuted at #1. I always thought it was so weird that there was never a sequel.
Because that would have been different, right? To do a direct sequel to that,
right.
Unlike what we got with Day of the Dead, right?
Yes.
Which wasn't quite the direct sequel, I think.
But yeah, I did. I really liked that Dawn of the Dead remake because it was different. Yeah. It was fun.
And even like where you think the movie's over and they at the end of the credits they get to the island and then they get attacked and you never really know what happens. Like you said, there's a cliffhanger there. And you're right. It debuted at #1.
Yeah.
It was like a big box office, a bigger box office hit than probably the original Dawn of the Dead.
It was one of those movies like it was on cable fucking
all
for
the
years.
time. All the time.
Shit.
You still find it on cable.
Yeah.
If you're going through the movie channels, you'll find it. But yeah, never made a remake. But great movie. Really good movie.
Did you guys ever think that maybe that's a film, the original, that should have never been remade?
I thought of that before seeing the Dawn of the Dead remake, but what I liked about it was so completely different. Because the only two things the movies had in common was survivors in a mall. And everything else they threw out the window. All the characters, everything. So I think if they would have remade Dawn of the Dead and they redid characters of Flyboy and Fran and everybody else, then I would have hated it and I would have shit all over it. But because it was so completely different. Even the zombies, like Dave said, they weren't slow, now they're fast. I mean, just everything, I was okay with it. I don't know if you feel differently, but... Yeah,
I enjoy the film. I have this hard time with remaking classics. Like, it's the same thing with Halloween, right? I mean, it's like there's always this need to remake something that really doesn't need to be remade. But you are right. It is fun. It's enjoyable.
And maybe that's a good reason why we don't have the sequels from it, too. Because if you start making sequels for doing it, then it's going to kind of get lost in the sauce a little bit.
Yeah, that's true.
So.
True. All right, my number 3 is...
shit, I forgot about that one.
Dog Soldiers, Neil Marshall. One of my favorite werewolf films of the last, 20, 30 years at least. This is good because it's part kind of military film and part just like crazy werewolf movie. And I love the practical effects and the costumes and the makeup and all that stuff. It's got a great cast of people that you've seen pop up all over the place afterwards. And I really like Neil Marshall's directing skills, especially on his early films. And again, it's kind of a bleak movie, and it's interestingly shot. Most of the film takes place in one place, which is kind of cool. And it's another kind of survival film.
Yep.
It's just, and I think the werewolves look great. They're badass, and you got these soldiers who are also kind of badass. And it's got I forget what the one guy's name. Is it Liam Cunningham? I forget which guy it is, but one of the lead characters. It's him right here. He's popped up all over the place. He played Alfred on Gotham. He was in Doomsday. He's been in a lot of films, and he's just such a terrific actor, and he plays a very cool role here. So
cool.
Dog Soldiers, my number 3.
That's a great one. That's one there's a 4K. I think it's Second Sight Films is doing a 4K disc of that, and I will definitely buy that again.
Now that I just bought this.
Oh, did you just get it?
I just bought this.
It happens every
3 months ago.
Every show. There you go. 3.
I had the DVD forever, and I'm like, I can't wait to upgrade this from this crappy DVD. And now I got it, and it looks great, but
I'm sorry, Pete.
That's all right.
Yeah, it's a good one though. It's worth buying again.
These shows cost me money too, Dave.
Every show, and 3's the magic number. It always seems to be 3 months later.
You
find out. There you go.
So the moral of the story, folks, is wait. If you have an interest in buying anything, just wait because a better version is going to come out right around the corner.
You can't because you're on your sofa watching a movie and you're on Amazon and you're scrolling through and then you see it and you buy it. There you go.
And the day will come when there will be no physical media to buy.
So get them all now.
So that's the tough part that we're in.
I think that day's coming. The WWE, they're not making DVDs anymore.
Oh, no kidding.
No more DVDs.
Wow, I didn't know that.
So that day's coming, man.
See, there.
You know what? I have enough physical movies that if that happens a year from now, I got enough to keep you busy for the rest of my life.
That's true.
Right? So
that's true.
Not a big deal. I'll live.
We could always trade too.
Yeah, exactly. We'll do the rental thing.
Absolutely.
It's like I'll bring you over 20, you give me 20, and I'll see you in 3 months.
In 20 years, I'm not going to remember anything anyway. So
that's great. I might not remember anything in 5 years. So we'll see. But I remember this one, and I remember liking it, and it has a weird teenage thing going on. But I really dug it. This is the Canadian DVD. I know there's a Blu-ray,
I have it.
but at this point, I'm just going to wait till the 4K, because then as soon as I buy the Blu-ray, like Pete, then there'll be the 4K.
Yeah.
But it's Ginger Snaps, and it's a very different take on the werewolf thing, tying into like
before Twilight. So
yes, good point.
So,
and I think this is 2000.
Yeah, or 2001.
Yeah, I think I might say 2001. I can't make it out, but it's old.
very good.
But it's really good. They made 2 sequels, and I thought both of them sucked. I thought the second one was garbage, and I thought the third one was a little better than garbage, but still garbage. But man, this one, I've seen this one a ton of times, and I really like it.
Yeah, the first one's by far the best.
Yeah, Emily Perkins and Catherine Isabel star as sisters, and
Mimi Rogers is.
Yes, Mimi Rogers has great knockers. Although she doesn't, she's a mom in this, so she doesn't show them.
Right.
But she can show them to me
if
I see her. So I'll take that. But yeah, so
did you ever see that masseuse film that she did? She played.
I don't have that one, but I have this one with David Duchovny. I have it on Laserdisc, and it's like the end of the world, and I bought it because she shows her boobs like 3 times.
Oh, the movie I'm talking about, she's naked throughout the whole movie.
I have to get it.
I think it's called The Masseuse or something like
Write
that.
that one down.
And she just basically
Okay.
goes into this massage parlor, and the whole thing is her. It's almost like she's treating her masseuses like her therapist, and she's telling him all the issues, all her problems, and she's just.
Wow.
She is, yeah.
All right.
I
So
saw
that
cable,
movie's got a happy ending.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, I do have a lifetime subscription to Mr. Skin, so I can also just watch just the boob scenes. But I'm gonna.
Well, now you know what to watch.
I'm gonna look that one up.
God bless. All right, I think this might be my number 2. I think might be the first repeat of the entire show.
Yeah, we have.
The Conjuring at number 2. You already talked about it. Scary as all hell, and really, I mean, and Chris, I'm not lying. You haven't seen it?
I've not.
I'm telling you, scary.
Okay.
It really is, and I think maybe the scariest movie I've seen in probably the last 30, 35 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna put that on top of my list.
Yeah.
So the
I
Conjuring.
think is that on HBO Max? Maybe.
It might be.
I'll have to look.
You should be able to watch it. It's on something.
Yes, it's on somewhere.
It actually, after watching that movie, I had a tough time going to bed.
Wow.
Yeah. It's real creepy.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, I'm sold.
Surprised the hell out of me because I remember it made a lot of money and everybody was talking about it. I was like, whatever. And then my buddy recommended it to me and I was like, okay, I'll check it out. And then I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
All right, my number 2. I love this movie. Slither.
That's a fun one.
Yeah, this is man. If you hate creepy crawlies and bugs and giant appendages, and the practical effects in this film are so good. Michael Rooker is so good in this, and it's just a creepy, unsettling, nauseatingly good time. A little bit of humor. I love it.
Fun.
This movie holds up really well. I watch this every so often and just really get a kick out of it. It's just gross out, horror and body horror, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, good stuff.
That's a fun one. Yeah, from James Gunn, who did the Suicide Squad and the new Peacemaker TV show.
Yeah, that's right. I forget. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good. I totally forgot about that one. All right, my number 2. I think Pete had it already.
No, it's coming.
Oh, all right. The Descent, another Neil Marshall movie. Creepy crawlers and claustrophobic, and man, it's really good.
Relentless.
This is again one of those movies that I wish I had seen in the theater. I didn't know how good it was. I've seen it since.
I wanted to run out in a couple of instances because I get claustrophobic, man. Seeing them crawl through these caves and shit, I was like, oh my god.
This is about as claustrophobic as it gets.
Yeah, brilliant.
The monsters look great.
Yep.
Good action. Good special effects. Really good stuff. So yeah,
the ladies are all great in the film.
Yes, and again, there is a sequel which I remember kind of sucking.
Yeah, it's not good.
But yeah, the original's great.
Yeah.
All right, my number 1 is The Descent. That's my number 1. So there you go. I'm claustrophobic, So I like you, Pete, I saw it in the movies, and I never felt so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Even as you were talking about it, I started feeling uncomfortable, even while you were talking about it, because I really do suffer from that. So watching this movie was very uncomfortable for me.
Yep.
But great. My number one the
Wow.
last 20 years, The Descent.
That's awesome.
And my number one as well.
There you go.
Yeah, I've watched this so many times. And I remember coming home from the theater and being like, oh my God, that was really awesome, but yet, and the creatures are awesome. The girls are awesome. It's just so tense. So tense. And the whole end of the film is just like, what?
Yes.
Yeah, it's just, I love it. Job well done. And, I really thought after seeing this and Dog Soldiers and Doomsday too, which I like a lot, that I
Yes.
thought Neil Marshall's career was going to go through the roof. And he's been kind of silent for the most part.
He did make that other movie that I saw that I thought kind of sucked. It was in like the Middle Ages and it was kind of boring. And
Oh, Centurion?
No, not that's the one with Michael Fassbender.
Yeah,
that was good.
Yeah, that's really
no.
good.
There was a more recent one that was on Shudder.
Yes, like a year or so ago, right?
Yeah,
And I got awful reviews. Yeah,
I didn't like it.
No?
I didn't like
Okay.
that. Centurion, I forgot that.
Centurion
that was
is great.
good.
Yeah, that's
that
not
was
a
good.
horror film, but that's really
Yeah.
well done. Yeah, it's like a period piece, but very violent and really well acted. But yeah, but I'm hoping he's got another home run in him at some point.
Yeah.
That was a home run.
Yeah,
for sure.
without a doubt.
All right, mine. Dave was saying, a lot of these movies doesn't have an emotional attachment to it, which I totally get. But of the last 20-something years, I think this is the only horror movie that I did feel emotionally attached to, and that's Planet Terror from Robert Rodriguez.
Yeah, that's good.
The first half of the Grindhouse double feature. I really don't like the Tarantino second half, but man, Planet Terror, I just love. I couldn't tell you how many times I've seen it. I saw it 3-4 times in the theater. I have the life-size gun. I have the autographed poster. I have like a 15-foot standee and action figures and all sorts of crap. Way too much junk. But I really do love Planet Terror. It's probably about a year since I've seen it, so I should probably see it again. Maybe I should just buy it again just to have an extra copy. Although I do have the other version. I have the DVD, and then I have this version, and then there's another version on Blu-ray that has both.
That's one I have. Yeah.
Because one of them didn't have something, so yeah, I have both of them. But anyway, yeah, I really love Planet Terror from Robert Rodriguez.
Yeah, I like the Tarantino half as well, but it's a little long. It's a little wordy.
It's way too long and not enough action and too much talking and too much feet.
A lot of feet.
A lot of feet.
Yeah.
Also, too, got to give props to Bruce Willis.
Oh,
in
Bruce
Planet
Willis, he's
Terror.
great in
Like
that.
Bruce Willis is one of those guys that for every good movie he'll make 10 really bad movies, but that's definitely one.
The whole cast is great.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Rose McGowan is awesome.
Yes.
And that was one of the negatives that people brought up, and I was like, really? Because some people were like, well, if this is an homage to late 70s and early 80s, B movies, why is there such a stellar cast and why is there such amazing special effects? And it's like, oh, dude, just shut the fuck up and enjoy the movie.
Yeah.
It's fun. There's zombies and there's blood and boobs. Just shut the fuck up.
That's it.
And
But
for
no,
the
that's
full
the-
version, the movie trailers, the Thanksgiving, it's
yeah,
amazing.
Machete trailer,
Yeah,
so
awesome.
much fun.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Fun stuff.
You got any honorables?
I don't have any honorables. I'm sorry.
We got honorables.
I only got 3, but I thought of one more too.
Okay. Well, I just actually watched this morning before I started working. The Night House from last year, starring Rebecca Hall. Really good. Really creepy. Kind of like haunted house, ghost type of thing. Her husband kills himself and she's trying to find out why, and then all sorts of weird shit happens. She lives on a lake. It's creepy as all hell. Quite good. I had to pick Underworld.
Yeah, good one.
Yeah, pretty much for me, Underworld 3, Rise of the Lycans, and the second Underworld are my favorites by far. They're all fun, but the second and third I like a lot. I really like this a lot. A Quiet Place.
Very good.
Yeah.
And I even like the second one a lot,
Yes,
too.
good. Second one's great.
Really good. Dave mentioned 28 Days Later. Dave mentioned Cabin in the Woods. Drag Me to Hell.
Oh, that's a good one.
By Sam Raimi.
Which was basically a remake of Night of the Demon.
Absolutely, yep. Hereditary, creepy ass also fairly recent
Yeah,
film.
I have not seen that one yet.
That's quite good. And then this, because I love the whole folk horror thing, Midsummer.
That was interesting.
Yeah, really just kind of slow burn type of film. And then this is brand
Just
new
saying
that
that.
you both have to see. It's called Antlers. This is if you just love creature feature stuff and kind of like with a it's kind of folk horror-ish, and they talk about like a mythical creature and stuff like that, and then actually he is a part of the film. But and really the whole story of the little boy is just really, really bleak, but the creature is great. It's all practical effects stuff, and yeah, really good, really good.
Nice. I want to see that.
There's
movie.
a lot more, but
I want to see that movie Lamb.
I do too.
The
I heard
couple
that.
get that lamb and it looks weird. And,
Yeah, I heard that's really
it
weird.
looks
Yeah.
weird. But yeah. All right, so I got a couple. These guys mentioned 28 Days Later, but the one that I really liked was 28 Weeks Later. I thought that one was great because there was so much action. I thought it was so much more action-packed than the first one. I was always wanted a sequel, and they tried to do it. It never happened, but I really liked that one. Of course, I do love zombie movies. So, Dead Snow.
Good one.
The German Nazi zombie movie that I thought was really a lot of fun. Some good laughs and some good kills.
Best Nazi zombie movie of all time.
Yeah, I would say it. I think it's better than Zombie Lake. And what's the other one? What's the one that you like from from Ken Wiederhorn? Everybody likes it. Peter Cushing, who's got the terrible accent in it.
Oh, that's
I can't think of the name.
Yeah, I can see the cover of it. It's underwater zombies with the sunglasses.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
What's that called?
It'll come to me.
Yeah. The Peter Cushing is not British. He's German in it with a terrible accent.
Right,
but
right.
That's a good one, too. This one I just recently rewatched with my buddy Sean. And the reason it's a great movie. The reason I bumped it out of my top 10 is it is horrific, but it's really also kind of an exploitation movie. The more I thought about it. But I don't know. Either way, it is a great film. And it's Battle Royale, which I always like to make fun of anybody who likes those Hunger Games movies, because it's obvious that they stole it from this. And my last honorable mention, which Pete mentioned, again, this was a shout out to my buddy Dez, because he's the one that turned me on to this movie, The Witch.
Yeah.
It's a slow burn. And yep, when Dez and I watched it, he's like, we have to watch it with the English subtitles on, or the deaf subtitles, whatever the subtitles were. So yeah, because it is very difficult to follow.
Yeah.
And because Dez had seen it in the theater, of course it wasn't subtitled, and he's like, if you watch it with subtitles, it makes a lot more sense. And yeah, so I think that's it. That's all I got.
All right, I'm going to throw out a couple more because I had a bunch on my list. And so You're Next is another one. Cloverfield, I find,
Good
is
one.
kind of fun,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, I kind
Forgot
of
about that one.
Eden Lake, which is absolutely brutal, and it stars Mary Kelly, I think is that her name, from Yellowstone, and her and Michael Fassbender. Brutal movie. House of the Devil.
I never saw that.
That's quite good. That's quite good. House of a Thousand Corpses, Dagon. What else? The remake of The Hills Have Eyes.
That was good.
The first one, you're right. Second one was
second one
awful,
was terrible.
but the first one is very good. Yep.
Yeah. It Follows, really good one. Laid to Rest, which we talked about on here before. Terrifier, with the evil clown. Pandorum is kind of a good horror sci-fi film. The Wretched is really good. Censor, that's like a new Vinegar Syndrome
yep,
thing.
I heard about that
Yeah,
one. I
that's
haven't
pretty
seen
cool. And I think that's basically it.
And there's a movie I saw on Shudder called The Shed that I really liked.
Oh, I heard that's good. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's on. I couldn't find it on Blu-ray. It's about a guy that has a monster that gets caught in his shed, and he basically feeds people to the shed. Basically, like the movie The Pit from the 70s and lots of other movies, but nothing original. But it's fun, and that was probably the most recent horror movie that I saw that I really liked.
Cool.
This was a great list because we didn't have a lot of repeats.
No.
Outside of The Conjuring and The Descent, all different titles, which was kind of cool.
Yeah, good stuff.
Cool. So there you have it, everybody. Our favorite modern horror post 2000. I'm sure there are others perhaps that we have not mentioned that you guys really dig a lot. So please put that in the comments below. And I want to thank Dave LaGreca for coming on board. What's new and exciting over at Busted Open?
Oh yeah, just we're killing it. Monday, we're now, because of the podcast, we're on 7 days a week. Wow. So if you're too cheap to get a Sirius XM subscription, which if I didn't work there, I would be too cheap to get a Sirius XM subscription, you can get the podcast for free.
There you go.
Available on Apple, Spotify, and Stitcher. So and go to podswag.com for official Busted Open merchandise.
Cool. Awesome. Well, we look forward to having you back.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chris.
Absolutely.
Thanks for having me on, man. This is great.
We'll do it again.
I'll bring props next time. I promise. I haven't brought it.
Jamie, see what you're doing,
dude. I love you, man. You know, dude. I got to get some props, man.
That's funny.
Props are always good. Props are always good. So, and Chris, as always, good to see you, my friend.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on, and we'll do more something.
We'll do this again. So visit us on the web at www.seaoftranquility.org. Check us out on Facebook and on Twitter. But, of course, we're here on YouTube all the damn time, bringing you the best in hard rock, heavy metal, progressive rock, jazz fusion, and horror, sci-fi, and fantasy films. That's kind of what we do here on The Sea. So for Dave LaGreca and Chris Allo, I'm Pete Pardo. See you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.